What's up, KSR YouTube? I'm Kentucky Sports Radio videographer Stephen Peak, and we got a full slate of predictions for Kentucky's 2023-24 basketball season. We're going to look at their record through their top 5 non-conference games, how many SEC losses they will get, who the leading scorer will be, one hot take each, how far Kentucky will go in the SEC tournament, and how far they will go in the NCAA tournament. So starting with those top 5 games, I think Kentucky's going to go 2-3 in those. It's tough when you don't have a big man, and you can see them dropping a couple games early. We don't know when those guys will be able to play.
The first big win of the Kentucky basketball season is going to be against Miami, because Kentucky's got the guards that are going to prove that they are the real deal Holyfield. They're also going to beat Louisville and get the Zags, because by the time they play Gonzaga, it's a little later in the year. They're going to be cooking with grease. Those are going to be your 3 big non-conference wins.
I've got Kentucky going 3-2 in those early non-conference games. The 2 early losses, I don't trust the front court quite yet. While they get back to full strength, then I have them winning those final 3 games against UNC, Louisville, and Gonzaga.
I'll say 3-2 losses to Kansas and North Carolina. I do think they get Gonzaga and Miami pretty easily there.
4-1. I think their only loss is going to be to Kansas. I think that they're going to take some time to get going, but I think they're going to win a lot of games in the non-conference.
I think Kentucky can get to 4-1. I'm gonna say they lose that opener to Kansas in the Champions Classic. Kansas played an exhibition game on the road at Illinois. I think that's a significant advantage already being in that environment. I think it'll be a tough one. It'll be a close one. Kentucky loses that one.
I hate to be this way, but I'm worried about not having the size, so I'm giving them 3 losses. Certainly to Kansas early in the year when they're not going to have any of the bigs. Then I've got them losing to Miami at home, again, thinking they're not going to be ready, not have the big men. And then to North Carolina and Atlanta.
4-1, the 1 loss to Kansas, but then they'll get it rolling against Miami, UNC, Louisville.
I have Kentucky going 3-2 in its 5 big non-conference games, and unfortunately the biggest challenge is the first. Number 1 Kansas, Champions Classic, United Center in Chicago. You have to assume Kentucky won't have Aaron Bradshaw or Ugonna Onyenso for that game.
I think you'll see Kentucky most likely go 3-2 in those 5 games. Obviously, I think we beat Louisville. They're just not very good. I think we can beat Miami, Florida. I think we can beat Gonzaga. I think we'll beat either Gonzaga or North Carolina.
Cats are going to lose 4 times. That's right, only 4 times. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling great. The game at A&M worries me. So do the road trip to Tennessee to end the season. But Cats are only losing 4 times. They're going to be number 3 seed in the SEC tournament.
I have Kentucky with 3 SEC losses, all on the road, at Tennessee, at Arkansas, and at Texas A&M. I have Kentucky finishing 2nd in the regular season. Tennessee is going to get the regular season crown, and then we will see what happens in the SEC tournament.
I'm going to go a little bit under. I'm going to go 4. I'm going to go 4 losses SEC, so that would put them, that would be what, 14-4, something like that, I think. 14-4 will go there. The UK wins the regular season, mainly because Aaron Bradshaw comes back and the UK really picks things up at the end of the last maybe 2 or 3 weeks of the season.
I'm going to be optimistic and say only 4 SEC losses.
I think this team gets to 13-5 in league play, maybe even higher if they can get off to a good start. But 13-5 is a safe bet. In John Calipari's time at Kentucky, the Cats have averaged 13.2 wins in league play. I think they get back to that mark again this season.
Don't hate me. I've got 6 losses. Unfortunately, they go early to Florida, maybe 1 at Rupp Arena. I just think with this youth, they'll have some bad nights against one of those teams and a lot of tough road trips. So I have Kentucky with 6 SEC losses, and I would love to be wrong on that.
I'm going to go 4 SEC losses. You know, most years that they split with Tennessee, so I'm going to give Tennessee the dub. Texas A&M on the road, even when Texas A&M isn't good, that game's always a struggle. The one upset, they usually have a random one. I'm going to go with Auburn. And then round it out with Arkansas. I think they'll be pissed off about last year.
I have the Cats losing 5 SEC games, all potentially on the road. I have Kentucky finishing 3rd in the SEC this season behind Tennessee and Texas A&M. And that's mostly due to the experience on both of those squads.
If you say they go 12-6, I think that's probably a pretty safe place to fall.
I got to be boring. I'm sorry. Antonio Reeves.
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 Hot take. Trey Mitchell is UK's best player this season. I don't think that's too much of a hot take either, but I'm going to go with it.
Kentucky's going to have a Justin Edwards problem until it doesn't. He is going to be absolutely infuriating because he looks like Tarzan and he plays like Jane. But he's going to figure it out, right? The problem is early on, he's not used to playing with so much contact. Once he figures that out, this team is going to look like a completely different team.
Rob Dillingham will actually finish ahead of DJ Wagner in the NBA draft. I think they're both going to be lottery picks, but Rob will shift his way into the top 10.
Justin Edwards is going to be drafted behind DJ Wagner in the 2024 NBA draft.
The most impactful freshman is not going to be DJ Wagner. It's not going to be Justin Edwards, who many believe could be the #1 pick in the NBA draft next year. It may not even be Aaron Bradshaw, depending on when he gets back on the court. It's going to be Rob Dillingham. Dillingham came to Kentucky from OTE. Some kind of question, maybe he might not be the best teammate. He might not have the best work ethic. So far, he has proved that wrong and more. He's now got the frame to muscle to the rim and finish. He's a facilitator, but most importantly, he's a playmaker.
I don't really think Big Z is going to be much of a contributor at all, whether that be because this whatever drama lags on, or it might just be the case that he's not quite ready to play college basketball yet. So my hot take is that Big Z isn't a huge factor, whatever way that goes. On a positive end, I think playing into that is because Aaron Bradshaw does play, and he has a big year to where Big Z isn't even really needed.
I know it took a lot to get Big Z over here. A lot of people are excited about him. I don't know if he'll quite live up to the hype.
And have I been impressed with Rob Dillingham recently to the point where I've said that I think he can be the best player on this basketball team.
I don't want it to happen, so I'm saying it now so that when we look back at this later, we go, wow, what a stupid take that was. It's that the streak of players sitting on the sidelines and just not playing continues. It's happened for 3 or 4 straight years. We don't know they're hurt, we don't know what's going on, but they're just there, available, ready to help your team win, but they just don't play in the games. Let's hope that that's not gonna be the case again this season. When that doesn't happen and Aaron Bradshaw is like one of the best players in the country for playing for Kentucky, then we can be like, yeah, I was an idiot. I'm fine with being an idiot. I'll eat crow all day for a Kentucky win.
Folks, the droughts are all in this year, baby. It's pouring, it's raining buckets. Cal is back, the Cats are back. They're going to Nashville, they're running through it.
I have Tennessee winning the regular season, but I have them getting upset early in the SEC tournament, and then Kentucky finally gets the job done on Sunday and gets the SEC tournament crown.
I think if UK is going on the trajectory that I think they are, I do think that they can ultimately win that, but it'll be tough to beat Tennessee, especially if UK beats them twice in the regular season and beat them 3 times in a row.
Kentucky. They're going to win the SEC tournament.
I think the Cats are going to win the SEC tournament this season for the first time since 2018.
Not winning the league in the regular season. However, in the Music City, Kentucky fans get what they've been craving. Finally, a Sunday game where they get revenge on Tennessee and take the tournament trophy down in the Volunteer State, and the Big Blue Nation finally gets that trip we haven't had in a long time in Nashville.
I think they finally win 2 games this year. I think they make it to the championship game. I don't know if they'll win or lose, but I think they'll finally get back to that final day in Nashville.
I think this is the year the Cats do it. I think the combination of veteran presences with Antonio Reeves, Trey Mitchell, paired with the freshmen, if they hopefully hit their stride by February or March, I think this is a really dangerous team come tournament time.
I think what's going to happen is Kentucky's going to have an emotional win on Saturday. They come into Sunday, it's that quick turnaround, got that noon tip-off, and they fall in the championship game.
Again, there's moving parts to this. I think Kentucky has a team that can win the whole thing. Do I think that on paper Kentucky is the best team in the SEC going into the season as we currently stand? No, I don't. I think that would go to Tennessee. I'm probably going to predict Kentucky does play on Sunday.
And then they're going all the way to the Final Four, baby. Winning the SEC tournament, going down to wherever the hell they're playing the Final Four this year, and they're cutting down some nets. Let's do it.
And as for the big finish, I have Kentucky getting back to its first Final Four since 2015. John Calipari getting the job done in March.
K's NCAA tournament finish, I will say at least the Sweet 16.
I'm going to say they get to the second weekend, get to that Elite Eight, a place that they have not been since 2019. If you get that far, you're in the conversation to win a national championship, and I think the Cats will have an opportunity to make that final weekend in March.
And UK's NCAA tournament finish, I'm going to go with Elite Eight.
NCAA tournament? Call it an Elite Eight. I mean, we're just completely guessing here. As you know, anything can happen. I'm hoping for a Final Four, but I think this team makes it to at least the Elite Eight. And to be honest with me, as long as the season isn't too bad, I think an Elite Eight's a good spot for them. But I'm hoping, of course, they go a lot farther.
NCAA tournament, I think this is the year. You've got a really exciting squad. I think they get back to at least the Elite Eight. They might run into problems like they have many years of this is a young team. They're going to run into an experienced team. But I think at least Elite Eight. I think Cal gets them back, and I think they reestablish the brand this year.
Say the Elite Eight at least. I think much of that is going to depend on the front court situation. When does Aaron Bradshaw get back? When does Ugana Onyenso get back? When does Avicic get cleared to play? And even then, what kind of impact will he have this year? I think those are just questions that hang over this team right now.
I'm going to say Sweet 16. That is an improvement. You're finally getting to the second weekend, first time since 2019. Of course, that does mean that you probably fall short of a lot of Kentucky fans' expectations, but I definitely think this team has the talent to go much further.
Do I think this team goes to the Elite Eight? Yeah, they probably can. That's about as far as I think it's fair to say they should go. And then anything from there, let's let the chips fall where they may. And yeah, we all want to play for a championship, go to the Final Four. But I think anything beyond the second weekend is really hard to predict at this point.
And that'll do it. Make sure to subscribe, like, comment. Let's hear your predictions in the comments section, and go Cats.